Menopause can be a very uncomfortable period of time for a lot of women, but some of the issues can actually be managed by altering your diet. Nutritionist Andrea Holigner has 5 tips for women over 40 to help manage perimenopause and menopause symptoms. Thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you. And I know we're a little young for this segment, but as a female now in her 40s, really looking at being proactive is excellent.
No question. And looking at the table and the display that you've brought in this morning, I think this is probably sound advice for all women.
For all women, you bet.
All right, let's start by talking about protein and carbohydrates. That's sort of the #1 tip to pass along.
Well, through menopause, we get changes in energy and mood, and one of the most important things is really making sure that carbohydrate and protein are combined together in your meal planning, and that's to help level out blood sugar control and energy and mood.
Okay.
So what we find with a lot of our female clients is oftentimes meals just contain lots of carbohydrate because they're our favorite comfort foods, but they don't have that sustained long-term energy. And on the other hand, oftentimes we find people just simply existing off of protein and wondering why their brain is so exhausted.
So it's so important to combine
a little bit of both.
Okay. Another one, and this is a great display of that. Eat real foods.
Real food, and of course that's the stuff that your grandparents would recognize as edible food. And so no surprise here, I mean, we're talking about the same thing in any nutrition recommendations. What we know about research for women in prevention of cancers, heart disease, osteoporosis, it's not so much single nutrients or eating less of single nutrients, it's the whole diet and eating those nutrient-rich foods that's most important.
Okay, great stuff here and a beautiful bright display. As we age as well, our metabolism slows, so you really do have to be more conscious of maybe how many calories you're ingesting every day.
I know, and people get very upset about this because we get used to eating a certain level, and of course to maintain our weight throughout our 40s, 50s, 60s, we either have to be exercising more or eating less just to maintain our weight, which is why weight loss as a secondary goal is very difficult through this particular time. So lots of fruits and veggies, half of the plate is what we're always after. That helps to reduce calorie intake overall and just get you pointed in the right direction.
And I would imagine if you're eating real food already, that kind of goes hand in hand with maintaining that weight.
It helps, it helps.
Let's talk about supplements, because there are some crucial vitamins that you really need to make sure that you're topping up.
You bet. So of course calcium and vitamin D throughout menopause as bone density starts to decline is really key. So 1,200 milligrams of calcium is what we're after, which is the equivalent of drinking 3 cups of milk or almond milk, soy milk, that type of thing.
Okay.
Of course there's kefir, there's cheese, yogurts. 3 of those servings a day could get that from food alone, but we do find a lot of our clients are falling short. So sometimes a calcium supplement along with definitely a vitamin D supplement is going to be a good idea for women.
Okay, in addition to those, there is another vitamin you're recommending, B12, supplementing with that as well.
You bet. So after the age of 50, our ability to absorb vitamin B12 goes down. And so vitamin B12 is so key for good brain and nerve function, as well as red blood cell creation and maintenance. And so we get those in animal-based foods, but again, we absorb a little less of it. So we do recommend women over 50 take a vitamin B12 supplement. And you can typically get that in just a standard age-appropriate multivitamin.
Okay, you've brought in an example of your lunch today with the steak on the salad. So even if you're having that, say, as a lunch, it's simply just not enough. You need to still supplement.
You bet. So yes, and I brought in, oftentimes people think they need to eat less red meat. And so today my lunch is left over from our steak Father's Day dinner yesterday.
Yum.
And so I'm going to have steak and salad. I've got some toast at my office already, and that's going to round out that meal with the good carbs and protein. Boost up my vitamin B12 a little, good source of iron, and definitely will be very satisfying.
Laying the groundwork for the future. Great stuff, Andrea. Thanks so much for coming in this morning. And if you'd like more from Andrea, you can visit healthstandnutrition.com.